Welcome back, everyone. This is Tak Oda, CIO of Attaché for Business, joined here by Lisa Hammond, our CEO and HR expert. Lisa's been sharing the top 10 mistakes that small businesses and entrepreneurs make when hiring employees and independent contractors. So let's see the list. We're working our way down to three. Thanks for highlighting it. Not collecting the appropriate paperwork. Okay, this is going to be a good one. It's one that's going to be short and sweet, but you should probably bookmark this particular video because it's an important list and it's easy to come back to. So take it away, Lisa.
All right, so there are a number of things that you can collect in terms of paperwork when you're hiring either an employee or an independent contractor. Let's just start with the independent contractors, and we're going to just hit on some of the essential things that you definitely want to have. So for independent contractors, meaning people who are not really your employees, they come in, they help you, they work for you, but there are a lot of restrictions around who can be an independent contractor and who has to be an employee. So you want to pay attention to that. We're not going to get into that now. I think we've done a video on that already.
Talk about it all the time. Yeah.
And so you can go back and find that. But for independent contractors, these are 1099 people, which means at the end of the year, you're going to be issuing them a 1099 versus a W-2. You want to collect from them a W-9, which is equivalent to the W-4 for an employee. You also want to have a contract which really lays out what their job is that they're going to be doing for you. It tells them that they're not an employee, what they're going to be responsible for. They're going to be paying their own taxes and that kind of thing. And you don't have control over their hours, so to speak. So you really are laying out what that relationship is in the contract. You also want to have a non-disclosure and intellectual property, which says who owns the property that they're developing. Now, maybe if they're developing something for you and you're paying them for that, there's the intellectual property, and there's also what's called work for hire. So both of those kind of fit hand in hand, and you could have one without the other or both. And that's saying that they're doing something for you. They don't own it once they're finished with it. So for example, if they're writing an article for you, then it's your article, it's not theirs. Somebody who's ghostwriting something for you, that would be work for hire, where they're writing it in your name, so they aren't on it at all, but that would be work for hire. And then a non-compete, meaning they aren't going to come in and take your customers or your clients and solicit them for their own business. So those are the things when it comes to an independent contractor. Then there are employees. So for employees, there's a little bit more. Some of the documents that you have can be included with like the contract. You could add the intellectual property and the non-disclosure in those too, but you want to have that information in there. So for employees, you've got the W-2. These are the ones that get a W-2 at the end of the year, and you're paying taxes for them. You're deducting their taxes and paying the taxes that are required for you to pay. So you want to get a W-4 from them, which allows them to tell you how much tax they want taken out. Also, any state tax document, you want to have an employment agreement which has their hours, their pay, information about their employment in that document, so that you two are very clear on what that agreement is. If they're getting benefits, what those benefits are, that kind of thing. And then intellectual property, who owns the property? Generally, it'll be you. There are times where it's shared. For example, a lot of times with faculty relationships, the faculty own what they write, even though they're being paid in some ways to write it. Also, non-disclosure, non-compete, same thing. You don't want them taking your customers and going off and starting their own business and having your taking your customers with them. You want to have an employee handbook, and you want them to sign something saying that they know that they need to read it, they have read it, and they know they need to refer to it. The EDD, which is the Employment Development Department, has forms that they want you to provide has forms that they want you to provide for them, and it generally is talking about their rights as an employee, unemployment benefits, and if your state has state disability, it has state disability. And very, very, very important is the I-9, which is the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, requires that you provide, that you have everyone complete an I-9 correctly. So you want to get some information on how to make sure you're doing that correctly, because this is the one form that they could actually come in and audit you on. The rest of them will be more if you have an issue, then they would ask you for that form. The IRS can actually come in, not the IRS, the INS can actually come in, or ICE can actually come in and ask you to show them your I-9s. So
Wow.
the I-9 is the right for the person to work in the work in the United States.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So that's a pretty good list. And as I look at some of these things, I think a few of these items really demand their own little deep dive. So these are giving me ideas. I'd love to talk to you more, or talk a little bit more about what a work for hire agreement looks like, intellectual property agreement works like. But for now, this is a great list. Let's stop here, just because I think most people are signing in just to find out what they need. So thank you, Lisa. But the next one's going to be even juicier. So everyone, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Lisa.